I'm in the ancient northern town of Chiang Mai in Thailand, and I spotted a few things today that got me thinking about what we might be able to do better in Bali that they do really well in Thailand. So let's go through some of those issues right now. You're probably wondering, how did I get to Thailand so quickly? Well, that last boat that I took from the Gillies back to Bali was really critical. I had to get that really on time, otherwise I would have missed my flight up here into Thailand, which I'm just going to for not long, a few days over the Christmas New Year period. And I hope you've all had a great Christmas and that your new year is a good one. This first place I'm at is actually a canal here in Chiang Mai. If you look at that, beautiful, beautiful looking canal. And it's something that we actually have a lot of in Bali. We have a lot of canals in Bali, and this one in particular caught my attention, mainly because yesterday I was having a coffee on the side of it, and I saw this and I thought, geez, this is a beautiful, beautiful place just to go and sit down and have a coffee. So let's check it out. So this is actually the start of the walkway, and what they've done is they've got a little check-in sign there with a nice covering for the drain there, which could be ugly as well, but it's not. They've actually made an effort just to make the drain cover look pretty good, and then they say start here. They've put all flowers along the end of it, and sellers have sort of sprung up all along here. Now, I don't know how organised this is, whether the government sort of mandated or allowed these sort of people to set up here, or whether, I don't know, people just rolled up. I'm not sure, but it's actually quite pleasant. Now, it reminds me of the, there's a canal in Sanur actually, which is quite a nice canal. It smells a bit, but I mean, that's not something that can't be sort of resolved or solved. Some nice cats here. Yeah, little knick-knack shops and stuff. I mean, this is sort of a tourist attraction, but I mean, locals come here as well. So in Sanur, what you could have, you could clean up the river a bit, which needs to be done anyway, to get a bit of the rubbish out of there, which they're not doing a bad job of with some of those rubbish collection devices they've actually got on the canal there in Sanur. But if you had some people setting up little businesses like these ones, yeah, or a little coffee shop, or even just small coffee carts, you'd actually move the direction of that canal from just being a little bit of an eyesore to something that's quite celebrated, like this place. And at this time of day, it just looks beautiful. Like, it's just a really pleasant place to come and have a bit of a stroll. The other thing they've got here, they've got these little maps. It looks like the university's put that together to sort of show you where you are, where it goes to. Gives it a little bit more structure than just sort of like rolling up and wandering around without any idea what you're doing. Fantastic. In fact, you could even do it in a place like Denpasar. They've got a lot of canals in Denpasar, which they've tried to beautify a bit, but they're still ugly. Like, they haven't done a very good job of it. They've tried. And I think you could actually go a step further, you know, get some plants and some flowers in there. Get some more cellars down there. Like, I know one of the canals I've been down there was one cellar down there. But again, the river stunk a little bit, so it's sort of like not really that appealing to eat your food next to a stinky river. But they're trying. It just hasn't gone all the way. You need to really try hard to get these things off the ground. It's not like you just clean things up and everything's okay. Yeah, here in Thailand, they seem to be a little bit more determined to make these things work, and they do it really well. A thing like this, you wouldn't even have to do it in Sanur. You could do it anywhere in Bali where there's a canal, and people from all over Bali would go to an attraction like this. If it was done properly like this, I think you could actually create it in Denpasar, and if it was well known to be an authentic experience with good, you know, local snack foods and so forth, it'd be pretty popular, I reckon. The interesting thing is, this isn't actually something that's been around for a long time. It's quite new. 2018 is when the project started, and the king and some of the royal family said, we need to go and revitalise this place. It used to be like an open sewer, so they said, let's go and clean it up first. So they've got wastewater treatment and so forth. I mean, you wouldn't swim in there now, but it's not like it doesn't stink. So they've cleaned up the river, they've beautified it, and then they've done all this, and that sort of is not that difficult to do if you've got a bit of initiative. The other point here is that this sort of walkway lends itself to snack foods. Indonesia does snack foods really well, but they're not really packaged that well for tourism purposes. Well, these are cool little flowers. Look at these. Don't know what they are. I've never seen those before. But here in Thailand, they do a really good job of snack foods, and they're all over the place. Little snack foods like this. Not sure what they are. Dried fruits, and there's honey, there's nuts. Just little snack foods that are packaged well. For example, you can get like a single stick, a single skewer of meat, like a chicken satay. Whereas in Indonesia, quite often, if you go to a roadside seller, they want to sell you 10 sticks, and they're all like tiny bits of meat. Whereas here, they'll just give you one big block of meat. they'll charge you more for it, but it's a little bit more snackable, you know. They'll do little sweet snacks, they'll do slushy drinks and all this sort of thing, which is again much easier to do, much easier to eat and consume while you're walking along a path like this. I couldn't imagine that in Indonesia unless they adapted some of their snack foods for this sort of environment, which you could do, but you've got to put a bit of thought into it as well. You can't, it just doesn't magically appear. There's a bit of work that goes into these things. I wish they'd do it because I think it could be brilliant. You don't want it to be like a tourist trap either, and this doesn't feel like a tourist trap at all, like it's not. Sometimes you get these things that, like some of those floating markets you see around the place, they are just a tourist trap and they feel fake and inauthentic, but this thing feels totally authentic. It's just a beautified sewer canal. One of the other reasons I think this is a great idea is that sometimes in Bali, as we go to a more modern environment, we lose some of the vibe of Bali, some of the real Bali vibes, some of the authentic foods and some of the authentic interactions with people. And this sort of takes you back to some of those more authentic interactions when you've got real people from the community selling, you know, little bits of food and little snacks to people, to tourists like us. I think that'd be a really good idea. A good blueprint for something like this would be taking the markets from the Sunday markets down at the Car-Free Day in Renon and putting them, you know, by a canal. Like, all those sellers are already available. They've already got all the snack foods and stuff available there. All that needs to be done is transplant it to a place that's been beautified. That needs government intervention, or it probably needs government intervention. It probably needs academics or university students to get involved in some sort of project and sort of study the way a place like Thailand goes about it as well, because they do a really good job of it. That's weird, isn't it? Some old little watermill. It's not attached to anything, but it's still there, a little bit worse for wear. Wonder if this place floods, because in Bali we get a lot of floods along these canals, which doesn't really make a lot of sense unless you start thinking about rubbish that's in the water and some of the blocked waterways and so forth. But you know, Bali's had huge rains forever and you never used to get big floods. It seems that these days you do get a lot of floods, which is a little bit odd. That needs to be resolved first, otherwise you'd go and build all these markets down on a canal like this and they'd come and get wiped out after the first big rain. As we walk further and further along, the shops become fewer and fewer, and it got me thinking a little bit about northern Thailand and how I really love this place. I really love northern Thailand, and if you've never been up here before, it's somewhere that I think a lot of people might really enjoy, but it's not as popular as maybe, like for Europeans it's popular, but for a lot of Australians in particular, I don't think it's that popular. But I think it should be. I think it's a wonderful place with lots of culture. Now, I'm not going to do a deep dive into Chiang Mai and northern Thailand. I might do a couple of videos, but I highly recommend doing a bit of research into it, because the city of Chiang Mai itself is just wonderful and there's lots to see and do here, and it's a very artistic university town as well. But also in the outlying areas, the scenery is amazing, and the Thai culture up here is completely different to the southern Thai culture, and the food's different as well. Like, a lot of Thai food we get in a place like Australia is southern Thai food with all those curries and things, whereas up here there's a lot more meat and barbecued stuff and sticky rice and completely different flavours, but just sensational as well. Great food up here. One thing that's very similar between Thailand and Bali is that the motorcycle culture is very similar. There's rarely a place that I go to that has as many motorcycles and scooters as Bali, but Thailand is one of them. Just an incredible motorcycle culture. And it makes traveling around the town quite simple. So if you're comfortable getting on the back of a motorbike like I've just done now, it can cost you about $1 or $2, depending on how far you're going. You can actually go quite far for $2. And it's actually the preferred way of getting around, especially if you hit peak hour and there's a little bit of traffic around. In Thailand, the main app that is used is Grab, and that means you can also get Grab taxis as well. So if you're not comfortable on the back of a motorbike, you can easily get around on a Grab taxi, and it uses the same app that you've already been using in other places in Southeast Asia, including Indonesia and Bali. All you need to do is attach your credit card and you're on your way. On the subject of food, I think there's a real good argument to be had about Indonesian food versus Thai food. A lot of the times people will say Thai food is the best food in the world. It kills Indonesian food. And I understand why those comparisons are sometimes made, and I understand why sometimes Indonesia gets such a bad rap when it comes to food. but I actually put it down a lot to marketing and the way that it's packaged. I just don't think it has a good image, and I don't think it's that accessible, and it's not marketed that well. For example, in most countries there are Thai restaurants everywhere, and over time you do get a feeling for what dishes you love about Thai food, which you don't like. And actually when you get to the country, it's really easy just to pop into a place like this over here, which is the first place that I ever had khao soi at, which I'm going to go and check out now. Khao soi is a northern Thai dish. It's just so easy just to pop in and get something that you really love. That's a bit harder in Indonesia to do, and I'll explain that a little bit. One thing is for certain, that both nations' citizens are absolutely passionate about their own food. And if you speak to an Indonesian about Indonesian food, they'll passionately describe some of their favourite dishes. The problem is with Indonesian food is that it is quite regional. I mean, it is regional in Thailand as well, but because it's so super regional in Indonesia, someone from Bali may not know what a dish from East Java or West Java actually tastes like. In fact, a lot of the people I've met in Bali don't even know that the people of West Java speak a different language to the people in East Java. So that regionality really does cause some problems across Indonesia, and it makes Indonesia more like a series of individual countries with different cultures and different foods. And so lumping all Indonesian food into one group is a little bit difficult, and that's why it's hard to say that, hey, I really love Indonesian food. So what's the work that Indonesian government needs to do? Well, it needs to market it more. It really, like, I reckon if you come to Bali on a holiday, like, there could be some sort of little booklet or leaflet that shows you what some of the interesting dishes of Bali are, some of the interesting dishes that are found in Denpasar, give you an idea of what's in those dishes, whether it's weird or not, you know. That education part of it's really important, because we lack a lot of information about what Indonesian food actually is. When we think of Indonesian food, we can obviously think of a few main dishes. Nasi goreng, we can think of beef rendang. What else can we think of? There's not a heap of other things that we can think of really easily off the top of our heads. With Thai food, I can think of millions and millions of different dishes. Like, you can list all the different curries, you can list pad Thai. Real easy. Coconut sticky, mango sticky rice. Like, you can just really easily get stuck into Thai food quite easily. Of course, there's a lot of depth to Thai food as well, but those headline ones, easy as. Indonesian food, not as easy as that. Susan's really excited, look at that. She loves the khao soi here. So what khao soi is, I'll just show you a little bit. Basically, the main story about khao soi is there's a sort of a coconut milk spicy broth with noodles in it, egg noodles. And there are two types of egg noodles. There are your normal wet egg noodles, and then you've got these crispy things. Yeah, they look like this. And they're like a topping. And then you have a choice of meat. Now, this particular place does battered fried chicken in theirs. So no bones, but there are a lot of other places will do a chicken leg. A lot of places these days will even do pork. And the traditional way, I think, is with the chicken leg. Beautiful food, and highly recommended if you ever have the chance to try khao soi. It's one of the staple dishes, or the most famous dishes up here in northern Thailand. Let's try some of this khao soi. Try the broth first. It looks very spicy. It's got a bit of red to it. Some of them are more spicy than others, actually. Some are not so spicy, some are really spicy. This is a little bit spicy, I think. Yeah, exactly how I remember it. It's been over 8 years since I've had this, nearly 9 years. Thank you.
Wow.
So that's my, I actually got a Thai tea mixed with chocolate. That looks good. Amazing, like amazing. So let's get stuck into this food. So these are the egg noodles I was talking about. See how they're wet? Now they're fresh noodles, but they've got a bit of a springiness to them as well. A bit of that chicken. The flavours are actually a little bit hard to describe. All I can really describe is the coconut milk flavour, the spiciness of a bit of chilli in there. Of course, fried chicken tastes good any time. And then the noodles, just the perfect dish. This is one of those khao sois that you don't see on the lists of top 10 khao sois to eat in Thailand and all that sort of stuff. It's one of the, for me, just a very good one. It's not absolutely special in any particular area, but just all around good. And the other thing about it is you don't have to queue up to come here. A lot of the ones that are on all those top 10 lists you see on the internet, you have to queue up to go to those. This one you don't. And for me, the spiciness level is bang on. Like, it's not overly spicy. Some of them you get, for me, are just too hot. This one's just beautiful. It's got a bit of a zing to it, but yeah, nothing too bad. I just love it. It's like just your corner store eatery. Beautiful, roddy yum. The market situation here in Chiang Mai and generally in Thailand is pretty interesting. There is a big Sunday market and a big Saturday market, but outside of those days you have different night markets that are daily as well. But the thing about these markets is the sort of products they sell is sort of not really tacky. Like, it's really, really good quality stuff. Good quality handicrafts that are individual. They're not mass produced. You don't see them at a lot of different places. You see them at that one stall and that one stall only. They're handmade and the prices are pretty reasonable. The other thing is you don't get harassed here, and I think there's a lot of things you can learn from that in Bali, is that you get harassed when you go to a lot of the markets, which is a little bit unpleasant. Here, totally fine. Look at this. What a beautiful market this one is. And mixed in with all of this, you've got your snacks that are going on, you've got cold drinks, you've got little meat on a stick, you've got, look at all those cases. Hello. Yeah, look at this. They're pretty cool. Like, little pancake things with cat paws and that sort of stuff. I mean, it's just really interesting. Everything I see here I find to be quite interesting, not the mass-produced handicraft sort of stuff. A bit of a Christmas theme here in Chiang Mai, and one of the things that we can learn here from the way they do things here is that the Balinese people, I get some of this snow off my face first, the Balinese people are already very, very creative people. They've got all the tools at their disposal to be able to put on something this good. They just need some structure around it, and I think you could get a similar type of scene in somewhere like Bali that you do here in Chiang Mai. It's the people are creative enough. So with all those ingredients already being there, all we need now is for someone like the government to step in, or maybe some commercial enterprise to come and try and commercialise something like this. What we don't want though is what is called wisata buatan. And Indonesia has a lot of wisata buatan, which is really poorly done. This is manufactured tourism, which can just feel not nice. And we don't want that. We don't want a theme park. We want something authentically Balinese, but we want it to be modern and progressive as well. And to get that fine balance is sometimes a little bit difficult. Thailand certainly isn't perfect, but there are a few things that Bali can learn from what Thailand does really well. First of all, it's about the food scene. The snack foods on the side of the road, which aren't really packaged for tourism purposes in Indonesia, I think could do a little bit of you could modernise those a little bit and make it more accessible to tourists. I think the markets could completely be overhauled, and you can get tourist markets happening a lot more frequently. I know in Canggu, for example, they do have some art markets there that are quite modern and a little bit like the Thai style. But outside of Canggu, it doesn't really happen. In Sanur, for example, you could really do with some more modern, handcrafted stalls, people coming from the villages who are really artistic coming to sell their wares, and I think that'd be very popular. And lastly, it's all about food more generally. I really think Indonesia could do a much better job of marketing what they've already got. The food's already great. There's not a lot of work that needs to be done on the food itself. It just needs to be marketed better, and there needs to be more education about what actual dishes there are out there, what the good ones are. It's not just slapping out nasi goreng and beef rendang at every occasion. There's lots of regional variation that I think Indonesia could really play up to. And I think for me going forward, I think I need to explore a little bit more of that regional food to perhaps play my part in educating the masses about what good Indonesian food is all about. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Once again, here in northern Thailand, I'll be back in Sanur very soon. I'm only here for a brief trip. I wasn't even going to make any videos, but I thought while I'm here, I observed a few things I thought might be quite interesting. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Sanur, the rest of Indonesia, a bit of northern Thailand. I'll catch you next time, and Sampai Jumpa.